Hi guys, today I'm with Simon Bailey, who is in Jersey Boys once again on the national tour this time. So we're going to have a chat today and take it from there and see where we go. What's your first memory of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons?
To be honest, my first memory is actually subconsciously. I think you all know the songs anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise how many of the songs that I knew until I went to go and see the press night of the show back in 2008.
Wow.
I was part of a four-piece group at that point, and we were invited to go and see the show because we were four guys in suits. Kind of made sense. And with every single song that the show kept throwing up, I was like, I didn't realise I knew all these songs. So that my first kind of solid memory, I suppose, is actually of Jersey Boys.
Yeah.
And then I realised, obviously, you heard the song so many times before,
Yeah.
you just didn't realise, you know. So.
And that's the thing, isn't it? When you go and see the show, you just kind of think, I didn't realise they wrote that, and
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. And it's different from a jukebox musical, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think because rather than it being a jukebox musical, it's a musical that chronologically goes through their timeline,
Yeah.
you know, and it's not just songs crowbarred in to make a scene work.
No.
Obviously, music's involved because how could it not be? But they're used in a timeline frame of mind rather than anything else.
It's much more deeper than that, isn't it?
Completely, yeah.
It's much deeper than that. So, have you got a favourite line from the show or a favourite song?
My favourite song keeps changing. I think when I first started the show, my favourite song was actually "Cry for Me," and I think "Cry for Me" is back there as I love singing it. It's the first time you hear the Four Seasons sound.
Yeah, and all coming together.
Completely, you know,
Yeah.
and like the way it's done in the show is brilliant as well, and you know, sort of bits keep getting added into it and stuff. And I think I love that song. I mean, Declan sings the hell out of it, and it's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song,
really
and you
is.
can kind of feel the audience kind of go, you know, like something's beginning. You can sense that people kind of go, okay, now we're off, now we're running.
Yeah, it is. It's that first thing when you think, that's the sound. That's
Yeah.
the sound we've been waiting for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is true. And as we've talked, you know that I've seen the show
Yeah.
triple figure times, which is a lot of times. But the national tour, what will we see anything different from being in the West End, or is there anything, or because it's formulaic and stylised, is it taken out of the West End and put on tour basically?
I mean, essentially, that is what's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, because the way that Jersey Boys is, the reason why it is a massive success is because of that reason, and you wouldn't want to tamper with something that's, in my opinion, pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
However, I mean, of course, from my experience of it, we now have a slightly different cast. You have an amazing cast, and I mean, something as actors that we like to do is, within reason, you like to try and change things depending on what the situation is. I mean, a word could be said slightly different, and that makes you take you down a different path.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been one to keep thinking like that and keep thinking, not how can I change it, but just to follow.
Keeps it fresh.
Keeps it fresh, you know. I mean, it's just about listening, you know. And I think if you say the same lines at the same time, you know, every single night, it becomes very robotic, I think, and it just shows that you're not really listening to what's going on, I think. And so it's, for me, you just got to keep your ears open and just react to what's being played out in the scene truthfully.
Absolutely. In fact, you deliver one of my best lines.
Which one's that?
When you say, as opposed to a walk like a man. Don't get it.
As opposed to what, a woman? Yeah, I do like that. That little exchange, I do like. We had a bit of a situation in Glasgow, actually.
Oh, really?
With that one little bit, where there was a woman who genuinely thought she was part of the show.
Oh, no.
She was on the front row, and we could just kind of hear her because we talked directly to the audience.
Yeah.
She was answering. She thought that. She wasn't a particular fan. Can I say this, Claire? I don't think she was a particular fan of Tommy DeVito. I don't think she took to him very much.
Oh.
So I would kind of hear a few little things from the front row. But there was this one point when we were doing that bit.
Yeah.
And because it was getting quite heated, we hear hello from the front row, and professionally, obviously.
Yeah.
we decided
Kind of blanked it out.
that Tommy and Bob would laugh in that scene.
Yeah.
Because I think it just kind of diffused the tension
Yes.
of what was happening in a professional acting style. And I'm sticking to that.
that works.
Yeah.
That definitely works.
Yeah.
Which, leads me on to audiences receive it differently around the country.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty part of touring, I suppose, is the fact that you have 2 weeks in each venue. And different places around the country have different culture styles, and they find certain things funny. They don't find certain things funny.
Yeah.
That's part of the joy of working it out as you get to a new place. Some places they're just ready to go with it and laugh, and other places you have to work slightly harder. And if they don't want to laugh, they don't want to laugh, or if they don't want to get but that's the joy, that's the beauty of touring, is the fact that nothing's, and again it's what we go back to before, nothing's ever the same.
No.
Because if there was a place where you would think something's funny, like I say, other people wouldn't, and then so you always find different points, and sometimes a bit of shock with things they find funny or not, and so that's the fun part of touring.
Yes,
to see that.
Certainly seeing it as many times as I did in London, I was always struck by how the audience responded in different, and that was the same audience base, but because people travelled in, they responded to it in different ways.
Well, that's entirely the point. In the West End, people from different parts of the country travel to you, and so we would get those it'd be a variety every single week, because you don't know who's coming in from where. With this, we're travelling to people, so you kind of you start to learn after the first couple of days, if you think something's really funny and they don't, you just go straight through. Yeah.
So, we're talking about 4 seasons. What's your favourite season of the year?
Spring, 100%.
Fair. Good on. Okay. So, I've got 3 questions. I always ask, what's coming, guys. So, what we're going to ask is, if you could go back in time to any period in history, when would you go back to, and why?
It's a difficult one, because there's a couple of parts. There's one specific part of history that as a kid, I was so intrigued by, and I did a lot of, when we did the history lessons on it, it was one thing that actually got me interested, and I actually worked at it. So it was 1665, 1666, with the bubonic plague, the Great Plague of London, and then being wiped out by the Great Fire of London. I was always really intrigued by that. So I'd probably go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd stay really clear of London, because I wouldn't want to get into that stuff or burn, but I like that kind of. I don't know why, I was always.
That sort of brought you in. That was engaging.
Yeah, just really, in an odd way, really exciting. I don't know why. Okay. People wonder why I wear black. That's because I have a black heart.
Okay. Talking of heart.
Make me sound better.
If you could be a superhero or have a superpower, what would you have?
Brilliant. This is gonna be Batman.
Batman?
Yeah, I would because
you could wear black.
He wears a lot of black. I don't have a huge variety of colours in the old wardrobe.
Okay. That saves time, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to go with the Johnny Cash thing. Johnny Cash, Man in Black, but so we'll go with that. But yeah, Batman. I like Batman. Yeah, Batman's a cooler superhero in my opinion.
It's a good call. Okay, talking of Johnny Cash, if you could have or choose 3 people to invite to a dinner party, who would you choose and why?
This is really difficult. I mean, I think to combine the acting, the singing, and humour is a big. I like to find humour in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I think for those specific reasons, for the acting side of it, I think it'd have to be Marlon Brando.
Yes.
I've got the singing one's really difficult. It's really difficult. I've got 3, so I'm gonna have the arms of one, and then.
Okay.
But you've got things like people like Freddie Mercury, Frank Sinatra, and Elvis.
Yeah.
I mean, because for me, if they were to combine and be, that would just be the ultimate. That would be the superhero singers, in my opinion. Difficult to pick one of those, so I'm gonna add some chairs to that table so they can come in.
All right, that's fine.
And Ricky Gervais.
Comedy again.
For comedy, I think he would just he just make me laugh all the time. So that's the best I can do with those. I think that's
I think
kind of
that's
what
a pretty good. That would be a cracking dinner party.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that'd be a cracking dinner.
And then
party.
Cash walks in at the end and plays a
Yeah,
little song.
yeah.
So yeah.
That's good. That's good. Like that. Like that. So, you're touring. You're coming to the Mayflower in March.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to having you. Tell my audience, who are very musically based, they love Jersey Boys. They know I love Jersey Boys.
Yeah.
Tell my audience why they should come and see you on tour at a venue near them.
Well, I'm really excited about Southampton because the last time I was there, I was with the touring production of Phantom of the Opera, which was amazing, and it was so well received there, so I can't wait to come back. Jersey Boys is the most fun show you're ever going to see, because if you think you know the music to it, and you will, and it's such uplifting music, you'll be dancing and singing the arts. You go knowing the songs, but you'll come away knowing this really incredible story. It's a true story. You know, sometimes when you know a band, you don't know their history. This tells you the whole history, and you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll throw things if you wish. Please don't throw things. But no, you're just guaranteed such a fun night out. So we can't wait to see you there, and we'll all be waiting for you.
That's great. So book tickets now.
Good tickets.
Anywhere on the tour, it's going right up until March. It finishes at the Mayflower next year, at the end of March. So, it's for me to say thank you so much for your time, Simon,
Thank you.
today. And book those tickets.
See you soon.
Take care. Bye.